And we are back, episode 158 of Journey to a Million here on this Wednesday evening. Myself, Drew Skyberg here. We're back. Zack Rausch and Jared Valleskey joined as well. And look, we just had a wild trip this past week, guys. Survived. Jared golfed the best rounds of his life, if you will. And Zack
Not so much.
golfed well.
No. The worst rounds of golf in my life. No, not really. Most inconsistent.
The
I
overhit
think it's going
both days, I'm pretty sure. 0.5 throwing clubs.
0.5 throwing clubs hit. But
one was like a swing and like a drop, and one was like an actual throw. So you can count it if you want.
I would. I counted it. So that says all you need to know. But overall, I thought good banter, good debates, especially on the football side. I don't know. You guys came out with an interesting one, an interesting toss-up, if you will. Anthony Richardson games played. Feels kind of intense.
It's a lock.
What did we decide? 11.5? I don't even remember.
8.5. I thought, right, Zach?
No.
Yeah, what was it? 11? I think it was 11.5. Yeah.
11.5. And taking Zach took the under.
Yep.
So I think
for some reason, don't know why. He's kind of confused. We'll just keep it at that. It's okay.
And we have the parameters on that. That'll be a interesting one.
Do you think off topic? Do you think Rondell Moore is safe to drop and Jonathan Mingo?
Yeah. I'd say
in a different league, so I have to drop 2 players after the rookie draft. So,
yep, those will be safe ones. I don't think any question there. But I was thinking too, right? As we've last recorded, we talked before right when the draft ended, right? Now we kind of have more news there. That's where I do have that. We'll go through today. Is I have 32 teams ranked, all of the teams starting at 32. Was thinking we could get right into that as well, unless you all had any pressing trades like Zach's fleece. Or I'm kidding. Zach's trade he made.
Yeah.
Zach bullied someone into trading. I've never seen such.
Yeah, right. He was like so nervous. He's like, just stop talking about it. Except, he was over it at that point. So
he was
typical Zach. Just trying to
play hardball.
Yeah, it's all right.
And yeah, it was I just was fascinated. The trade went from Joe Burrow to Zach. It was Joe Burrow to Malik Neighbors was how the trade went. Just a total turn. Brock Purdy would have been going the other way. Some firsts. I don't know. But look, I think with these rankings too, and again, these are some preliminary. I made these right after the draft ended. I feel like there's been some movement over the last few weeks. So I haven't really captured all of it. So I feel good about the tiers. Maybe a spot or two you could be like, there's no way that team is better than that team. And I could hear that argument out. So without further ado.
I made my own list just to compare to see where I have them listed.
Good. So I'll actually share today. So
all right.
You get a little spreadsheet. You get a rankings when you see Titans all the way at the bottom.
I had him at 30.
So that's kind of where we go first.
But that's just because I have upside with Cam Ward.
Sure.
So
Zach, I mean, you're being the third guy here just off the top of the noggin.
That team stinks.
Yeah.
So
they're bad.
So you're going, you agree? 30, 32.
Oh,
is there
yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I agree there too.
Somewhere in the 30s.
Saints, 31.
They were my 29, so yeah.
That team also stinks.
These teams are retiring.
So Carr retiring was why I moved them lower. That was more so like, we might see Shuck right away. Rattler.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But that's a 4-win, 5-win team.
Yeah, we're in the right tier. 30.
Yep, they were my 32. So we just flipped Giants, Titans.
Okay. Which
you could make
Russ,
an argument, I think, both ways. I don't know.
well, of the three, that's where Russ makes me feel confident, but we're talking 30 versus 32.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Cam Ward could be amazing. You know, he could
You're
be
right. You're right.
He could be like Jaden Daniels his rookie year. You don't know. So that's why I kind of gave him a few spots just for that. I have a feeling who this one's going to be then. Oh,
Raiders.
Okay.
Might surprise you.
That is very surprising, actually.
So
I had him a little higher.
Tells you how I feel.
Explain
I
why.
still don't. Oh, well, looking at the draft, I mean, they fixed. Well, they got a running back. They got Geno in. I feel like that's going to make a difference. But we're still talking from a from the trench perspective, right? I mean, they made some moves at offensive line, but there's nothing. I mean, the team's still pretty thin in key spots. Besides, I mean, like Max Crosby, obviously, but like there's.
I think personally that the whole Geno to Bowers thing might win him a few games that like alone, and then Genty's adds a lot there. I just feel like I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel like they could win a few games here and there, but yeah, I'm not arguing like they're a top 15 team or anything. Yeah, he is interesting.
Where'd you have him? Maybe 25.
I had him like 24. Yeah,
okay.
I had him a little higher just because of that.
This was one I made right after the draft, as I discussed. So maybe you're saying they're the bat. I would have them. I mean, this is my bottom tier right here. These teams are the bottom tier. I would already say once you get to 29, you're getting to the second least tier, which is these aren't playoff teams. These are not these teams. The upper echelon of this tier, that upper part of that tier, will be, like maybe I wouldn't say borderline, maybe under 500, like 8, 9. That's kind of how I look at.
I'm curious where you have a certain team though, because I would rank. Yeah, there they are. Okay, I put them at 31.
I'm a Browns fan secretly.
See,
I gotta be.
I see nothing with them. I put them right above.
I see Giants. The skill. They'll take some games. This might be where Zach says something.
I don't think
I'm betting on the Browns' skill positions, and I'm betting that one of those quarterbacks. That was just like based on how they drafted. I feel optimistic about how well coached they are, and obviously Raiders game Pete Carroll. This is a team I'm open to moving the Raiders, but I also this was kind of the initial thing. Zach, to just also echo what we said. We're talking these three are the lowest tier. The start of the second lowest tier is these. We think the upside of the second tier is like 8 and 9.
Giants should be a lot higher.
Giants should be higher?
Okay.
I disagree. I disagree with everything.
So
I had them at the lowest. I had Browns at 31. I have Giants at 32. I think Giants are going to be the worst team in the league this year, even if Neighbors has the best year.
Neighbors
doesn't matter.
Backfield is decent. O-line is going to be hopefully healthy.
Hopefully healthy. I mean, you
well,
can't.
So with Russ and everything, what do you think?
The offense is average, top 20. They're going to win probably 6-7 games.
Well, that was what our tier was. It's like 5 to 7 wins, kind of.
Okay,
that's
there's
the absolute
teams that win less than 7 games.
The most teams win at least 3 or 4 games. So there's going to be teams that win 4, 5, 6. I think the Giants are within that, 4 to 6. Yeah. Maybe even 7 at best.
Yeah. You cannot say you think the Saints are going to win 7 games.
Definitely
that'd be too high.
No.
But I feel like maybe you could argue the Browns. You couldn't say that with.
I had the Browns at 31.
Browns have a harder schedule. Browns are also going to have the last place schedule. But I know they're still going to have that division. Don't get me wrong. I think that division is going to be. I won't say it's going to be worse than last year. But that's just solely baking on like the Steelers' current QB situation. But
Zach, what do you think of the Raiders then?
I'd say about around here. Yeah.
Really?
I'd say out of the 5 up there, just push Giants and Browns.
Okay. Well, how about I get you 27?
Yeah, they were my 27 as well.
I'd probably take Giants over Jets.
How is
Wow,
that?
the Giants
what's
got-
appealing? What's appealing with
What
the Giants?
happened?
I am at number
You're
32.
the Jets fan. This is
I
wrong.
mean, it's,
You like neighbors and you just traded for him. That's why you're so hyped up about him. But like, what else? What is
No,
what's appealing
sure.
for them?
offensively, they're basically at the same spot. They have one elite receiver, and
Okay.
they have decent running back rooms. Offensive line can be shaky, but
Decent
it's
running back
fine.
rooms. Is Tyrone Tracy going to be called decent? I wouldn't.
Cam Scadaboo, Jared, that's your guy.
Yeah, best
They got-
upside
they
for
got
him
two
is
guys.
like
Okay,
8 points a
yes.
week.
Okay, Jets are better than the. Obviously, Brees Hall is better than what the Giants have. I'm not saying like
Yes.
they're close, but
And the
neither
receivers
one
are
of them have,
better,
like, a
probably.
Bijan or whatever.
Besides Neighbors
I mean,
and Garrett Wilson are
basically
pretty
the same.
close. Yeah.
Neighbors is better than Wilson. But like
Yeah,
other,
but then-
other than that, they have like
other than
one
Neighbors, there's no
guy.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, same with the Jets. They got Wilson. Who else do they got? You know?
I don't
So,
know.
like,
Yeah.
their offenses are pretty much in the same spot. Are you taking Justin Fields? Are you taking Russell Wilson, Jackson Dart? I mean, that's kind of a toss-up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know the Jets defense is solid, but I'm taking Giants defense this year. I mean, Giants filled a lot of holes, obviously added Abdul Carter. Jets lost some pieces, and I mean, that defense, frankly, wasn't as good after Saleh got fired last year. So
You're not convincing me. I'm sorry. I see your point, but Giants are not going to win more than 5 games, 6 games this year. I'm sorry. I can't see it. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I think Giants are worse than all these teams. Honestly, maybe the Titans are worse. Maybe Saints, but I think 30 is the highest I put them.
Giants defense keeps them in games. A lot of these
They
teams.
did. Yeah, they did. Yeah, I think Abdul Carter, Zach, how he's going to perform. That would be an intriguing argument too with Lawrence. Obviously, you're going to have Andrew Thomas back in the offensive line after being out for injury the second half. So there's going to be pieces that this team it should be. I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't want to say should be better, but at the same time, they're in the NFC. They're in a tough division. I mean, that's where I look at it. That's 6 games right there.
Personally, I don't have many problems
like
at all with this list so far. I think the Raiders should be a little higher, but besides that, I'm fine with it.
Yeah. 26.
Yeah, that was my 28. So
wow,
pretty close.
That's fair.
So the Jaguars,
They're
26.
They only have Lawrence.
Trevor
if he's
Lawrence.
good, they'll win 8 games, 7 games, maybe if he's good.
So
besides that, they got nothing. So.
Hunter could be an X factor.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, 25. Collins team, the Panthers.
That was 25 for me too. Yeah.
Really? Yeah. I mean, I could see upside, right? That this is one of those teams. We're starting to hit that tier that I was talking about, where 8 and 9's the upside. This is kind of my upper part of that tier.
Mm-hmm. I could see
I
it.
think it's fair. Okay. 24. Patriots. So they're a part of that as well.
So it's pretty fun. It's right there.
Yeah. Panthers, Patriots, both teams. I think that could finish 8 and 9.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's crazy. What is that? Any feedback, Zach?
I'm just waiting.
I'm betting on moves. What?
Are the Colts next? They got to be here somewhere.
Yeah, they're in this tier as well. They're the upper part of the 8 and 9 tier. What do you got?
Obviously, I'm going to put them a little higher. Just because I gave them a few spots, just because bias.
That's okay.
I put them at 19. Just I wanted them in the top 20. So now I was like, if Richardson is amazing, like what he can be, we know he's not going to be the best talent he can be, but say he puts it all together. I'm thinking best case scenario here, we win 10 games, but realistically,
you'll see my 19s where we get there.
Yeah, realistically, it's 8, 9 wins. Yeah, I don't hate it for your standpoint, but just me, I'd put him higher just because. But
okay. I thought this was a what?
That's blasphemous.
I wasn't gonna do that.
Out of those 4 teams, they got the worst quarterback situation.
How can you say that, Zach? I mean, like, assuming health, health, that is. Assuming health, right? You can't say Drake May is better than Richardson if healthy, right? You can't.
He was last year.
Richardson wasn't healthy last year. He missed half the year.
The games he was healthy, May was better though.
No, he wasn't. He just wasn't. That's just not true.
May statistically is going to be better.
You can speak what you want, but the numbers don't lie.
Likely.
Besides the completion percentage, Richardson has every other stat that you would want, and I know that's a big one.
Can't
but
complete passes.
It's not that you can't complete them. It's just that he hits on a lot of deep balls and misses on a lot of short balls. And you know this. We don't have to talk about this again.
Yeah, and over the course of a season, your defense is going to be on the field 75% of the snaps.
And what do? We upped our defense. We made our defense way better. So
defense got a lot better. That was part of me for putting them over the Patriots. I have some, I just feel it's not even the proven piece. Well, because I can't say neither quarterback's proven yet, but I think May's going to be a more impactful player than Richardson.
I want nothing more. Obviously, I can speak it as much as I want, but I want nothing more than Richardson to be in top 5 MVP talks this year and shut everyone up.
That'd be great.
That would just make me so happy.
Hey, I got a card.
He has the talent to do it. It's just he hasn't put it together. It just Zach thinks that he hasn't done it, so he sucks. He's terrible. He has the talent. His upside is so high still. I don't care what he's done in the past. If he stays healthy, he has the upside to be that good. So for you to say he's terrible, worse than Bryce Young, worse than Drake May, worse than Trevor Lawrence.
He is right now.
He's not. Right. He's not. He's just not.
Those other guys have at least put it together for 5-game stretches.
Oh, and
he hasn't yet.
Yeah, you just forget about his whole... Okay. Yeah, you just forget about his stats. Better. You forget about his stats so much. It's funny.
Dude, you read me the stats. You ignored 3 of 8 games.
4 in a row was 32, 16, 20, 31.
Fantasy points.
That's what matters.
If he runs for 50 yards and scores 2 touchdowns, he's already at 17.
And what's wrong with that? Can Drake May do that?
He could. That's not the kind of player he is, though.
So that's an upside. That's a compliment. That's a compliment to Richardson. He has the upside to be able to do that. So for you to say he's a running back, why do you think Justin Fields got so much hate for doing that? And he was putting up fantasy numbers. He was doing great.
And he's a shit quarterback.
We have Justin Fields down here.
You made the same argument. That's what I'm saying. With his running, how can you make?
Yes, sir. I'm not. They're good fantasy quarterbacks, but not good NFL quarterbacks.
Okay, I hope you eat your words as soon as the season starts, because you speak it so much that he's terrible, he's awful, and it's not true. You just want to say it to get a rise out of me, and it's funny. It really is.
22.
Yeah,
America's team,
23.
the Cowboys. So we're still in this. We're in the mid now. We're getting into the mid. I don't know if there's any argument of kind of where that tier starts, but you'll see some of the teams we get mid, a lot of mid. Yeah, Cardinals, Cowboys, Falcons. This might be. I'm getting more 9 and 8. Now we're talking potentially over 500. Potentially, because obviously it's not the top 16 or and obviously more teams finish. It's not exactly that, but 19. Dolphins. Wait, let me know if I'm losing anyone here.
We're good.
Seahawks. This is where I start getting a little controversial.
I had them at 18 as well.
Okay,
when you compare them to other teams.
Down to this fringe playoff team tier.
You like them here or don't?
Seahawks. I would the tier wise.
I
would move them down probably below the Cowboys.
I thought about flipping these two. I thought about going Atlanta, Miami, Seattle. That was the other thought. It was close.
Yeah. But
okay, good. The Bears. Now we're getting. I don't know what I'm getting with the Bears. The upside is more than Seattle, I feel. Maybe you have them higher, maybe not. Okay,
yeah,
16.
I feel like no argument I make right now would convince Zach of anything, so I'm just gonna say something if I strongly disagree.
Well, we can argue.
Steelers should be a lot lower right now. I mean, if they don't have a quarterback.
You see what I'm doing here? Steelers are mid. I mean, they are middle of the road. I was I gotta put them still at 16 or 17 because just the track record, they made it happen, and personnel wise too. I mean, I know we talked about obviously you need a quarterback, but I like the football team around. Just overall around. They got DK. Obviously, they lose Pickens there, but can they get Caleb Johnson, who Jared thinks is a great running back too, out of Iowa?
I guess. Yeah.
I think Zach agrees with you on that, but Or does Zach not like Caleb Johnson?
No, I mean he's fine. I mean, I'm not.
But okay, but yeah. All jokes aside, though, like the defense too, is still going to be top of the league. Top 10 is kind of where I look at it. So, yeah, obviously Division 2. I mean, still isn't great, but again, probably going to be worse from last year. Hard to say though. I'm assuming they get Rodgers at QB. I know that news came out a little bit about like Bradshaw and whatnot. I obviously didn't account for that in these rankings. So, yeah, maybe they could be moved, but they're in this tier. So, 15. The Texans.
That's
so,
fair.
I suspect they're probably going to win the South. I mean, these rankings tell you I have them winning the South. So,
can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
I feel like, I mean, I've agreed with most of these.
What do you got?
I feel like a lot of these are kind of just like, oh, they won last year, they're going to win again this year kind of thing. Like,
okay.
I don't know. I don't hate the rankings so far, but like the Bears, for example, what makes you think they're going to be, 17, which is like middle of the road?
That hasn't been better than last year.
And
they were like
exactly
last year.
That's what I'm saying though. Like why improve them so much when Caleb Williams didn't have a good year? Why are you?
So
is this how they drafted?
They had a great offseason.
Okay, perfect. So then the Texans did not have a great offseason. They didn't really add much. They lost Diggs. Tank Dell's not going to be playing this whole year. So why are they listed above them then? That's my only question.
I see. Why are asking Texans and Bears?
I think you put them there just because you think they're going to win the South, and the Bears.
I think they're going to have more wins than the Bears. That's where, if we want to talk about ranking intuition, this is good because, the Bears are going to lose a lot of games because of the division they play in. That's the reality. I think we can agree on that. They're going to lose more division games than the Texans will. I would virtually guarantee that. And I think because of that, we're going to see the Texans near, in a playoff spot, whereas the Bears may not be in one. Sure, the football teams you could say are comparable, but I gotta lean Stroud over Williams right now, just based on what I know. I gotta take Mixon over what the Bears got, and obviously me bringing up a running back might not be great in this argument, but defensively, I like the Texans. I mean, they extended Stingley, the edge, Danielle Hunter's back.
They lost Tunsil.
Well, yeah, and that's a loss. They draft. They took care of a couple of things. Obviously, they brought receivers in. They lose Diggs. Diggs not really playing with them, or only for a few games. So I think they're going to hover around this middle of the pack here. You could debate the roster wise.
Yeah, I'm just wondering because if we're basing it off of what we saw last year, and they made the playoffs last year, they might make it again this year. But if we're going off of off season, the Bears had one of the best off seasons. So I think they could, be up a few spots because of that. So I just wanted to make sure what the ranking was solely based on, I guess.
Sure. What did you have them at?
Texans, I had them in this around the same spot. I don't like I said, I don't disagree with much. I just
it's a good question though.
Yeah.
It's like, what are we doing if we're just taking the standings from last year and copy and paste them? What do you got, Zach? Any other comments?
Nothing about Texans. I think they'll be
around this range,
the same place they were last year. I don't think they changed too much. They lost Diggs, but they lost Diggs and Tank Dell, but they brought in.
They got a lot of receivers, didn't they?
They brought in Christian Kirk, both Iowa State guys. I mean, it's
I think this next one, I don't even know. This one you guys could be telling me I'm crazy for too low or too high or don't know what I'm doing or maybe just right. 49ers at 14.
A little too high for me, but
a little too high.
If they're healthy this year, they'll be a lot better than last year. So
what do you think?
I would put them
usually
around
not the high.
16, 17, but I don't hate it.
I think they'll rebound.
Yeah, I'd say this is a good range.
I debated these 49ers, Texans, and Bears, where to rank them. 49ers, I'm looking draft-wise. Again, they didn't have a lot of picks. They did what they needed. They extended the guys they needed, starting with the veterans, and then, of course, Purdy. Feel like that's going to complement this team nicely. Obviously, I'm very cautious on CMC, so that's definitely an X factor. But I think the skill guys are going to be healthy. The offensive line, right? If we have those kinds of pieces together, I'm confident in this 49ers team being. And this gives me, I'll say their upside's 10 or 11 wins. That could even be generous. The 11 might be putting 11 in here, but that's where
they won 12 or 13 when they were healthy. So
yeah,
I don't hate it.
And okay, so that's good. I'm usually the little guy in the 49ers. That's why I was like, and you noticed they weren't here yet, so I was like, 13?
Yeah.
Chargers.
I had them a little higher, actually. I had them at 11.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, so, don't need to recap every team's offseason, but they had a good one in terms of schematically what they want to do. They want to run the football. So,
yeah.
They brought some guys in that are going to help them do that. And I think it's going to be a key thing for this team. Zach, you tend to be the Chargers fan now. This is tough for you. Chargers, 49ers, is this proper?
I think Chargers are a bit ahead of the 49ers.
Okay. Maybe a spot there too close. So let's look who we have at 12. The Broncos. This is the same. I didn't know. These were
no.
Okay.
Really.
Yeah.
Before this podcast, I looked at about 3 different lists of teams going into next season, and all 3 had the Broncos in the top 8. So
yeah, the Broncos.
I felt biased to put them a little higher. I put them at what did I have? 7. I put them at 7. Yeah.
Wow.
I thought originally 10, but then those lists kind of swayed me to put them higher, and I don't know.
The big thing is their defense is phenomenal, but I would say the Chargers offense, I think there's a decent gap there. Because obviously Hampton and Harris, I would say, are
what
couple
quarterback
steps
do you
ahead
take
of
right now?
Harvey. You got to take Herbert. The weapons, I think Chargers got more weapons as well. But it's really the Broncos defense, and let's depend how good the Chargers defense can be.
And that's where I was going to go hit you with, Zach. I'm Broncos over Chargers defense. Obviously, Chargers run game. I'm optimistic on the Harvey on how he's going to play, and obviously, I'm betting on the Sean Payton scheme. There's a little bit of that in here. Betting on them being
I'm curious.
But both teams are going to be in a similar spot. I feel I could easily take one or the other. I think they're both in this appropriate tier. But Jared said he'd have them at. This is where it'll get interesting. I have them at 12 and 13. I have 11 teams over them. Maybe that's.
Yeah, I'm curious where you have a certain team. We'll get there.
The Bengals.
Yeah, I don't hate it. That's good.
They didn't make the playoffs last year.
They just need to get a better defense, which they've worked on. They got rid of their DC, obviously. Colts got
Colts DC.
But I had them at 13, so I don't hate it.
Okay, but what about over the Broncos and Chargers? Is that a little aggressive?
I'm
a little Joe Burrow hype.
I'm putting behind both of those.
Yeah, me too.
Okay,
to be honest.
Okay, but same tier, maybe. Can I some common ground there?
I'd say a little bit below.
Yeah,
tier below.
Probably a little below. Yeah.
All right.
Personally,
so I'm the Bengals guy this year. It looks like
10.
The Vikings.
They're there. Okay, so that's what I want to ask you. So JJ McCarthy, a guy that hasn't taken a snap in the NFL. I don't want him to be a top 10 team just because of that. I don't care how good the rest of their team is. That was my argument why I put them a little lower. And that's why I also put Chargers and Broncos over them, because I was like, Vikings, sure, they were good with Darnold. They're going to be good with anyone. You could say that. But you have no idea what McCarthy is going to be. So I
love their free agency. And I think this team's going to be they're doing a weird thing where they're signing the older guys right now. Obviously, you feel their window is going to be this is what they want to do right now because they have a rookie quarterback on contract. But I think a couple years down the road it'll be interesting because those old guys obviously they won't have with the squad, or they shouldn't. Probably be some cap hits there, but looking at the Vikings at 10, I feel is appropriate if JJ McCarthy plays adequate. I wouldn't even plays good. He doesn't play great for this to happen, I feel. I think with how that team is set up, I think they're going to be a nice squad again, 25. Not as good as last year, though. I mean, I'm talking like 11 or 12 wins.
Remember, this team was people had this team ranking like 4th in the NFC North before Darnold had a big year. They thought they were going to be terrible.
Yeah.
And Darnold kind of, the first half of the year, he was pretty good. He kind of carried them to a few wins. That's why I'm like, now he's not there. JJ's coming in, rookie. I would have him around 9 to 10 wins, but
would you take? So you'd take these Broncos and Chargers over these two?
I said, rookie Bo Nix led 13 or 11 wins, whatever it was. Herbert's experience, Burrow's experience. I'd take all three over Vikings probably.
How about you, Zach?
Chargers, Broncos, Vikings, Bengals.
Okay, but in that 4th spot. Okay, number 9, Rams. Put them over the Vikings.
Curious where you have your team, honestly.
Okay.
I don't hate the Rams at 9. I had them top 10 as well. So.
Okay. Good. Packers are there.
Cool.
They're
okay.
8.
I didn't think go too high with them. Yeah. I mean, I had them at 11.
Well, I looked at it. I was like,
close. Yeah.
But I was like, over the Vikings. They lost to the Vikings twice last year. Why would I say that? Thought the draft was solid. Had to put them still over the Rams. I just feel like they're better than them. It's hard. It was hard for me to debate, and I know it might seem crazy, but I was looking at like the Packers, Bengals, and Broncos. Those 3 teams. Or not Bengals, sorry. Broncos, Chargers, Packers. I was like, Packers I'd take over.
Yeah. I have Broncos over Packers, but Packers over Chargers.
What do you got there, Zach? Do you feel like you'd still be putting the Broncos and Chargers up here?
Between those 3?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's tough. Because for the Packers, if they can get their passing game back to where it was 2 years ago, I think they're better than all these teams. But it was pretty bad last year. In terms of just drops,
3rd place schedule,
inconsistencies. Yeah, but I mean, it's not like
I would argue they have a harder schedule this year because they don't get to play against the AFC South. They don't get to beat up on the Colts division. But
yeah, so that's an unfavorable.
Yeah,
I don't like reading too much into the strength of the schedule because we look at it now. It's like obviously some of the teams that were good last year and can be good this year, just injuries or whatever. So, I mean, unless you're really like going through a gauntlet, I don't really.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get that close.
Okay. So, no, I think you hit on it right in the head, Zach. Packers passing games, the true X factor of if they are an number 8 or not.
I'd say their defense got better. Their offense, I like the moves they made, but they got to quit dropping so many passes, and they got to be. I know, was it Kirk Benkert? He just made a post that I saw that I thought broke it down really well based on the drop rates and the inconsistencies in the passing game, missing the deep shots, all that kind of stuff. So they have to at least find a middle ground.
Golden and Williams are got to be some key guys as well as impact from Reed and Dobbs. So I think that's good analysis. 7, the Bucks.
There they are. Okay, I can kind of list.
I think this is too high.
I'm sure I had my 10. I had my 10. I'm sure I could list every single one from 6 to 1 now for you, but
okay. But yeah, this was the last team. Was where did I put them? And I just I like this offense. I love this offense. And obviously Cohen's gone, so that's a question. But they just continue. Like when they lost Canales the year before, I just am hoping that, and obviously Todd Bowles being the defensive guy, it's hard to say it's him, but the continuity will continue. Bucky Irving, right? I mean, obviously I'm not the Zach at the Zach level of it, but I think this running game is going to be better than last year because you got Bucky for all 17 potentially as their one. I just think this is going to be one of the best offenses in football. I'll just look at the weapons.
Offense looks great. Yeah.
Defensive questions.
I don't argue with
There
their
you go.
offense at all.
That's why they're not. Well, if they had a good defense, Zach, they'd be top 5, wouldn't they?
Yeah,
I mean, they made a deep playoff run last year, didn't they?
No, they lost
They
to the
won one
Commanders
game.
first round. But
They won second round. Yeah.
but I would say they're kind of on a similar path as the Bengals. Obviously, their defense is better than the Bengals. I'm not saying that, but I mean it's a matter of can you stop the top offenses ever?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, obviously they can score with whoever. That's not an issue, but.
Well, I think they're going to be better than, based on these, they're going to be better than Atlanta, right?
Well, yeah.
I mean,
they should win that.
The schedule writes itself. Yeah, exactly. Okay. 6?
I guess
the Lions.
Whoa, I was wrong.
I thought that might be.
You have a team way too high, in my opinion. Then we'll talk about them when we get there.
Okay. Lions at 6.
Okay.
Commanders at 5.
Yeah, that's who. Yeah. I'm not convinced. Yeah, they had a great rookie year. Daniels
Great draft. They just doubled down. They said, we have our guy quarterback. We're gonna bring in guys to protect him and make him better. That's what they did.
There's some teams where they have like a breakout year and everyone's like, oh, they're just gonna build on that and move that for next year, and they're gonna be a Super Bowl contender this year. I mean, people said that about the Texans. People say that about. I mean, I'm just saying everyone. I don't want to say everyone. That was my one example.
Lawrence had a 4-game stretch.
It's cool. Everyone loves the narrative. Wow, a rookie quarterback almost made the Super Bowl. They're amazing. They're going to be great next year. I think all that hype was like built in. Now I think it's going to settle down a little. Yeah, they'll be a good team. They'll be top 10, but I don't know if I'd put them.
They need to get another weapon. In order to get over the Lions, they need to get another weapon.
Who were they throwing it to last year? Besides,
I guess they got Debo, but
they have to throw it to De'Ami Brown. That's who.
Yeah.
That's who.
And I'm not convinced.
Now he's with Jacksonville.
With that, like,
so
players like
they brought Debo in, but I know it's no.
We know what Debo
they brought
is.
Tunsil in. I mean, and they brought someone.
That's not a weapon. They run him on pass plays or what?
Well, what I'm saying is they brought Tunsil in to protect the line, which is going to give more time to throw the ball or protect the quarterback, which is going to be a key part, obviously, in any offense. Terry McLaurin still going to be the number 1 there. But yeah. I mean, the question is with tight end. I mean, Ertz, Sinnott, like kind of that part. Is that going to be your next weapon? Is that good enough? Probably not.
But see, these names don't strike me as a top 5 team in the league. Like, maybe I'm just still living in 2022 or 2023 and ignoring their last season. But
how do you feel about them, Zach? Too high?
I'd say they're 6.
6. Okay.
I don't think they did enough. I was a big fan of them going for a running back in the draft, and obviously they didn't do that. But if they would have got one of the top running backs, I think that would have been huge for them. We saw, like, not just go off the running quarterback, but we saw with the Ravens, right? I mean, how long did they just focus on defense and let Lamar kind of, do his thing in the offense? I mean, it's kind of what obviously the Commanders are in a little bit better of a situation, but I mean, you got to get your quarterback weapons. I mean, it's just because he can run doesn't mean you can just ignore the running game and be fine with mediocrity. So
it reminds me of the Bills, though, how they get rid of Diggs, they get rid of all their receivers, and they, get these young guys, and they still end up being one of the best teams. Like now, Shakir went in last year as their number 1, and he was, people didn't really know him too well, and now he's no top receiver in the league, and they got it done. So,
but these teams
I'm not trying to make
playoffs.
Huh?
These teams always lose in the playoffs.
Well, you're not wrong, but I don't like that argument. But it all comes down to a few plays each game. Like they're right there. It's so close.
Yeah, but okay. Maybe we could flip these two. I think that's the takeaway here. The Bills at 4.
I don't hate it. That's probably where I'd put them. I had them at 3,
right.
But
I mean that tells you how I feel about them.
I guess it'll be Ravens, Chiefs, Eagles.
No. Oh.
Yeah,
Wow.
Ravens, Chiefs, Eagles.
No, Drew.
What do we got? No, it's not me just saying, oh, this team won the Super Bowl. This team played them in the Super Bowl.
No, I don't hate Eagles 1. I have Eagles 1. I have Ravens 2. I have Bills 3.
Okay.
Chiefs 4. Lions 5.
Okay.
So move up a little. Chiefs down 2, and you're good. Swap Bills and Chiefs. Or no, just move 2
Bills
up.
I can't do that. The Chiefs own the Bills. I mean, I just look head-to-head wise.
I look at schedule.
Not
Or
in the
not
regular
schedule. I look
season.
at roster. Look at
Well,
roster.
when it matters,
Who has the
Zach,
better roster?
who's won the games?
Yeah.
But who has the better roster? Like the Chiefs don't have. Like they're fine. Yeah,
Wow.
everyone's.
Their
I don't
roster's
know.
pretty
They're the best.
Rosters
Their
are
roster's pretty good.
Bills are just such a powerhouse. The Chiefs just snuck by so many games.
I could debate this. I could debate this one, Ravens versus Bills, but I think I'd still put Ravens over the Bills.
No, I think Ravens are above the Bills. I have Ravens at 2. Like I said.
Really?
It's just I have Chiefs at 4. I have Eagles, Ravens, Bills, Chiefs, Lions at 5.
Oh. But
So they're all like basically the same, but it's like it's
this
just
is
personal preference,
so
honestly.
Maybe I'll lose you a little on tiers, but I was thinking about how do I even tier rank this? Like if I were to even do tiers, because I'm like, I could just loop all these top 6 together, but that seems kind of like a cop out.
That's what I would do if you were to tier them. Is top 6.
Yeah,
because you can't leave
I
the
would
Lions out of that tier.
I'd go top 6 because it'd feel weird, but Lions would be at the lower end of that tier with the Commanders at the back. However you want to flip these. Because I was like, oh, could you do 1A, 1B? Like I was gonna say this is 1A, top 4 are 1A, these 2 are 1B kind of thing. And then we get like tier 2 is these
2 and 3 through 6.
You could even go that way too. Top 2, 3 through 6. I mean, and then we get here. I was like, I kind of had a big tier here. I actually would go like 7 to 13, which is kind of crazy, but like that's just how the tiers shook out. 49ers would be at the start of tier 3, and then it kind of goes down to like only like a few teams, and then we get the ones I talked about before, the 8 and 9s. There's like 6 teams there, and we kind of just round out. Obviously, we talked through the Colts being with the 8 and 9 tier, not the this tier down here. So, yeah, I thought that was a great exercise to kind of just go through a little stress test on how we're feeling coming into the year.
I mean, I know you said it's not based on last year. It's hard not to base it on last year, though. Like, I get it. But, like, it's kind of chalk saying Eagles Chiefs 1 and 2 when that was the Super Bowl. It's like
it's been the Super Bowl for the last 3 years.
Yeah, I see why. They're great teams, but I think it's the Bills year. It's basically just thought, preference. Like I think this, you think that. Like we're just it's close, so I don't hate it.
Well, Ravens, and it was like Ravens didn't make the championship last year, whereas the Commanders did.
Well, you could argue Ravens,
AFC.
Ravens, Bills looked like the best 2 teams all year. You could say the most dominant, and then they lost their respective games. So.
Yeah, the things that I would change, like maybe consider now after going through this, is maybe I'm too low on the Broncos and Chargers. Maybe I put those over the Bengals. The Rams and Vikings is an interesting debate. They're in that tier, so I'd say I still think I'd take Green Bay over those. Maybe that's a little biased, but feel pretty confident that I thought me putting the Packers. I thought I could have put the Packers even at 7 over the Bucs. I didn't. Because I have too many questions with the passing game. Whereas with the Bucs, I don't feel that way with that offense. So,
yeah. Most of those teams, Bucs, Packers, Rams, Vikings, like those 4, I'd say are pretty similar in you don't know exactly what you're going to get game to game. Like you have an idea of, okay, well, Packers will probably put up some offense. Maybe they'll give us some points on defense. But then you look at that, not to bring it back, you look at that game against the Vikings, and they were down by 28 or whatever it was. And it's like, well, that's not the Packer team I'm used to seeing. So you don't really know exactly what you're going to get, and that's kind of the similar between all 4 of those teams. So I don't hate that placement. Like I said, I'd move Vikings. I'm not too confident in them, but Broncos up. Packers is fine. I don't hate anything really, just Broncos up a little bit probably. And Commanders down, I'd say. But, well, yeah, that too. But I'm not going to argue
our biggest
anymore.
Okay. You had them at 19. That was so our biggest probably spots difference was I'd say Broncos and Colts maybe.
Well, if I wasn't a Colts
Like,
fan, I'd have them in the same place you would. I'm just,
Okay.
I'm optimistic.
But Broncos really was the biggest one.
Yeah, for me at least.
So awesome. Well, there you go. That was your top 32 rankings. Coming into the year, and it's getting near best ball time.
I should look quick now that I'm in Chicago. If I put a Colts division win down, whatever, how much it pays.
Jared can look for us now. He can mount. I'll be our betting expert. So now we can just ask him what it looks like.
Super Bowl odds. I'm sure you've seen something. Packers are 1-2. Yeah, Ravens have the best, tied with the Eagles. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Packers at 9.
Oh wow, that was pretty spot on. At 8.
Colts are plus 7,500. So disrespect is crazy.
That means not happening. That means next year. Next year's another year.
Anything outside of top 9 is a donation for that.
You think so?
Yep.
Okay. Do you think there's a chance that the Vikings, Buccaneers, Chargers, Broncos, 49ers, or Texans will make it?
Nope.
Donation. Outside of top 9, donation.
Why top 9? Because Packers are number 9? Is that why?
Yep.
That's just the rule. It's top 9. That's the rule.
Who's 8, Jared?
Commanders are 8.
Yeah, top 9.
Whoa. Bengals are 7.
7. I was gonna say the Bengals better be in my top 9, then I have to reconsider it.
This is
49ers got to be in there too. 6?
No. Rams are 6.
Yep.
Lions 5, Chiefs 4, Bills 3, Eagles 2, Ravens 1. I had this exact list besides Ravens, Eagles flipped. I think Chiefs at 4. I had that.
Broncos aren't in there though, right?
Well, hold on. Ravens, Eagles are tied, so I had the same list. Broncos aren't. No, Broncos are below the Chargers.
Silly.
They're at 10, 11, 13.
Silly.
Yeah.
Ball nowhere.
But then again, Giants are 30. So right where I had them, or 32, 30.
Yeah, Jared and I both ball knowers. I had them 30.
Saints
Zach, you need to look at the over for Giants win total because that's what I learned today.
It's probably
win
like
total
5.5 or 6.5.
Should I look right now? I can see right now. Giants.
You should look.
Okay, so the closest favorite is 5.5. Yeah, it's 5.5. -1. It's under or over, and it's -145 plus 125.
Oh, so it's favorable. Okay.
Yeah. Whereas like the Titans, also 5.5, but it's favorable for the over a 5.5.
Okay. It's good to know. But
yeah. I don't know.
All right. Yeah. Do you have anything else? Does anyone have anything else before we wrap it up?
No, I just want the season to start so that
season
Zach can just shut up about Richardson. But
I'm gonna talk so much shit if he sucks.
And I'm gonna talk so much shit.
It's probably gonna ruin our friendship, to be honest.
Well, to buy a sports card he bought.
To be honest, it's that Jordan Love hasn't been all that. He hasn't been, but you guys make him out to be the next Tom Brady. So I don't ever talk about Jordan Love.
They were holding up GOAT. They were holding up the GOAT side.
I don't talk about Jordan Love because I know you guys probably don't think he's the best, but you act like he's the next coming of Jesus Christ. So I just
he backs it up a little bit more.
I could say a lot more about Jordan Love's terrible throws last year in the end zone, throwing pick sixes at the 1 yard line. I could say stuff like that, but I don't because why would I just say something that would make you mad? But you have.
Why don't we look at Jordan Love's stats on the ride? We had like 6 hours.
When he goes 30 for 55 or whatever he had that one game. Yeah. Whatever. It's still better than Richardson. I know. Let's move on. Whatever. Whatever.
That's the comeback. But all right, I'll wrap it here for Zack Rausch, Jared Valleskey, myself, Drew Skyberg here on this Wednesday night. Thank you all for listening to another episode of Drew Sports Crew, The Journey to Million, the perfect podcast for you.